I'm just gonna get right to the point, guys, because in my opinion, this car we have here is the best electric car you can go out and purchase today. In photos and in videos, the A6 Sportback isn't the best looking car. And in person, it is not as beautiful as the Audi e-tron GT. But in the flesh, this is a very good looking sedan indeed. And for me, this combo with the white paint, the black details, and these 21-inch wheels makes for a perfect spec. And personally, I do prefer the Sportback to the Avant. Kempower offers some of the best DC fast chargers in the world with their unique, sleek, and modern load balancing charging satellites. The small satellites translates to elegant and streamlined charging locations. When you pull up to a Kempower charging station, you don't have to think about connecting to a charger that delivers the correct speed for your car. The Kempower load balancing chargers automatically will allocate the correct power to your car, maximizing the efficiency of the charging site. When connected, Kempower chargers have a QR code you can scan, so this way you can easily monitor the charging session remotely regardless of payment method. That is just super cool. A huge thanks to my friends at Kempower in Finland for sponsoring this video. Because the A6 is a saloon and not an SUV, you step down into it, not into it sideways, or you don't climb up into it. So if you're a very tall person, this may actually be an issue for you. I have a few friends that are, pretty tall, like 195 and 2 meters and stuff like that, and they're gonna have issues. I'm 180 centimeters, 5'11". I have no problems at all, and what I really appreciate are the sport seats with the adjustable thigh support, because you can just move them out a little bit and get proper support. So that is very nice. So overall this interior is pretty cool. I like it is roomy, it is very practical. You have storage here, you have phone chargers, you have storage underneath the armrest, you have quite big door bins, and also you have dual cup holders here. But the quality in places is just terrible. So this has the denim sport seats, where you're gonna get this denim fabric on the dashboard, which is really cool with contrast stitching. I really like it. But like high up in the cabin around the door release, you have these cheap hard touch plastics. Also even the soft touch plastics aren't very nice. And also just some of the switchgear just feels low rent compared to other Audis. But what I can't complain about is the ergonomics. You have proper stocks, you have your cruise control stock here, you have buttons, you have switches, you have volume knobs, you have dedicated button here for your drive modes, you have your gear selector down here. It's just very easy and practical to use, and it is a big but, it's all the glossy black plastics that I just tried to clean before I shot this video, but I can't get it properly clean. It is dusty, it is grimy, it's full of scratches, it just doesn't look nice. And this car hasn't done more than about 10,000 kilometers. Imagine this after a few years on the road. So I don't understand why Audi doesn't give you the option at least to pay for a different type of finish and material here on the center console, here on the doors, and also on the steering wheel. So new for this generation is also the MMI panorama infotainment system, which I actually think is a very good infotainment system. It is Android based, but it doesn't have an Android skin. It has Audi's own UX over it, and it does work very nicely. The route planner is very easy and reliable to use. You do have an optional screen for the passenger over there, which I'm not a huge fan of, but for people like that, that is pretty cool. But overall, just the user experience here, you have all your practical buttons around in logical places. It's just very easy to interact with on a daily basis, this car. So I love sedans, especially, or this being a hatchback, sedan hatchback, especially when they are electric, because that means the body shape is going to give you better aerodynamics and more range in the real world, which this car does get over the Avant counterpart, and also its bigger brother, or the SUV brother, the Q6 e-tron. But the big compromise is here in the rear seat. So first off, because this is the Sportback version, headroom is very limited. I'm 5'11", 180 centimeters, and yeah, this is very tight and very claustrophobic. I can fit my head here, but if you're a little bit taller than me, you're gonna struggle. But the biggest issue here is, because it's a saloon, the bench here has to be lower because the car is lower, and also we're using the same platform as the Q6 e-tron, and that means we have a battery pack in the floor, and that means, you know, the floor is going to be higher. And you can see here, when I'm sitting at a normal angle, I basically have no under thigh support, and that wouldn't be a problem if I could slide my feet under the front seat, which I can't. This seat is set all the way down actually, and I don't think I can. I would prefer to sit even lower, but otherwise I feel like I'm sitting very high in the front seat. So there's no room for me to slide my feet here, and that means, like, for a longer trip, this is going to get tiresome. I can't rest my legs rather sitting in this awkward position. And also in the middle, it's even worse. I mean, the cabin is wide, so you could like sit 3 adults abreast, but here my head is touching. It's just not comfortable. And also, materials are even cheaper in the rear seat. This really doesn't feel like, you know, a €100,000 car. And also armrest here, cheap, you know, faux leather, and also cheap cup holders. It's just, in the rear seat, for, you know, adult passengers, there are a lot better cars, at least. But I mean, at least it's roomy, it's spacious for my legs, and also there's enough room for my head, but it just feels very dark in claustrophobic here, especially this car without, you know, the panoramic sunroof option. The A6 e-tron has this key, which does look very cheap. And I don't understand why, because this is an expensive car. When I bought my Audi e-tron 55 a few years ago, that was about 10,000 euros cheaper than this car, but it had a much nicer key. But what's nice about the key is that you have physical buttons, and also there's a proximity sensor, so you just have to walk away from the car, it locks automatically, and also when you just walk up to the car, it unlocks automatically. And also sit in the driver's seat and it powers on automatically. So to turn off ADAS, or the advanced driver assistance systems you would like to turn off, like I'd like to turn off lane keep assist, there's a button here on the blinker stock. You just hold it in for a few seconds, that is off. And also you have a customizable menu here to the left, where I've chosen the assistance systems as a shortcut. So I can turn off, you know, driver monitoring system, I can turn off speed limit warning, and all of those annoying mandatory systems that have to turn on every time you do a key off on a cycle. So to put the car to drive, you have a gear selector here. It goes into drive, and then the car will then creep automatically, and you have to step on the brake to stop it. But if you pull it one more time, the car goes into B, which is brake regenerative mode, or proper one pedal drive. So the car does not creep, and when you go off the throttle, it comes to a complete stop. Very smooth, but I still think Polestar and Volvo have like the best calibrated one pedal drive in my opinion. This car is also on optional air suspension, so you have your drive select mode here, and then you can do dynamic, you can do comfort, you can do efficiency, and also individual. My individual is just everything set to the most comfortable. And this car, even on these, you know, 21-inch wheels, this is one of the most comfortable cars I've driven. I mean, Audi engineers are some magicians when it comes to ride comfort and driving dynamics on their air suspension. You know, I first experienced this with, of course, my Audi e-tron 55 5 years ago. It was a very nice riding car, an upgrade over the XC90 I had before that on air suspension. But a year later, I bought an Audi e-tron GT, and that car was just butterly smooth, one of the best riding cars ever. And this is as good, even more comfortable, and it's just an awesome car. There's one motion, and again, this car on 21-inch wheels, like even when the road is bad with imperfections, it's never translated into the cabin. Even when you put the car into dynamic mode, it lowers its suspension, throttle response becomes much sharper, steering weights up, and you just have access to those 428 horsepower during normal mode or 462 during boost mode in a launch, just readily available at your tip of the toe of the tip in. And it's just really nicely modulated and calibrated. Like a lot of cars offer a lot of performance on paper, but this is just so controlled. It just feels faster than any other car I've driven with 428 horsepower. Faster than the numbers suggest. 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, like 4.7 seconds. It just feels rapid. And also, this is a stretch of road which I normally test the suspension, and it's comfortable. I could drive this car in dynamic mode all day long, but when you put it back into comfort, so this road gets progressively worse, where the imperfections get closer and closer, and cars with badly tuned suspension, which haven't been tuned over years and refined, they will struggle here because you hit one bump, and then before the car settles, you hit the next one, and they just get progressively worse. That's not an issue here at all. I mean, this road in this car is not bad. And I know this is bad because the past 5 years I've tested close to 200 cars on this channel, on this stretch of road, and a lot of cars, they just get completely unsettled. This has to be one of the best tuned suspensions ever. And then we hit the speed bump here, and we hit one over there, and there's one motion, and this car is on 21-inch wheels with so low side profile tires. It is amazing. At speed, it is very quiet, one of the quietest cars we've tested in instrumented testing. So if you want to see how this car does perform in a real world range test done at 120 kilometers an hour or 75 miles an hour, and also the noise test measurements from that and compared to other cars, I'm going to link that video down below. But this car's real strong suit is its amazing range in the real world due to this body shape having a very low drag coefficient of 0.21 CD, and also the big battery and that fast charging makes this car the best road trip machine we've tested here on the channel. And to see just how good, check out my long trip test, which is a test over 610 kilometers, where the goal is to complete that route with the shortest charging time possible. And this car just set a new record, and it surprised me. So if you want to see how well this performs in the real world on a long trip, I'm going to link that video down below. It may not be the most practical or the cheapest electric car currently on sale, and also the interior is subpar for the price point, but it is practical enough. It's very beautiful on the exterior. It is comfortable. It is quiet. The seats are great. The infotainment system and the ergonomics are amazing. The ADAS works flawlessly, and I've had no issues with this car whatsoever in my week of testing. It charges fast, and with this big battery and the aerodynamic shape of this car, it has amazing real world range and has broken several records in my standardized testing here on the channel. And it's when you combine all of that into a beautiful package that is great to drive, that is why I think the Audi A6 Sportback e-tron is the best electric car currently on sale. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below, and for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later, and goodbye.